and the highest drug user in the world is the United States. So I like to share this because there's a strong correlation between supply and demand. Mm-hmm. That's basic economics. So there's not going to be a lot of supply if there's not demand. America has a huge issue with drugs, prescription drugs, cocaine, and all of the other illegal drugs that are available in the black market. So as long as we don't address those issues here on why Americans consume so much cocaine, crack cocaine, and such, we're gonna have places like Peru, Colombia, and a lot of other places continue smuggling drugs to this country. Mm-hmm. We experience violence in Colombia as a byproduct of what the demand of Americans in this country. Mm-hmm. And the war against drugs did nothing but exacerbated that violence in our country. Mm-hmm. No different with what's happening in Venezuela and in Panama and Noriega. And I mean, I can really go back a little bit on like the history of Latin America and see how the United States has really helped put people in place that has been actually the worst for the native countries. We can't ignore the caravans coming from Central America here and now pretend that, as some people in our government like to say, that is their fault and it's Mexico's fault. Until we address the policies that we are implementing with those countries that are really making people desperate to come here.
Absolutely.
The tariffs, the idea that corporations and big companies go to other countries and open shops and pay people $1 a day to survive, like enslaving other people. I have anecdotes about seeing shootings and car bombs, and of course that's very, it's deeply sad memories in my mind. But I think that we need to look at the systemic issue.
Yeah. You also talked earlier about how affordable housing is a part of your platform. Mm-hmm. How would you create more fair and affordable housing options?
Plain and simple. No more housing development unless it's affordable for the people that live on the tent. Mm-hmm. It's really simple. Yeah. For a while I was really like, I need a package of policies and what are we, how are we going to address the housing? Mm-hmm. You wanna build in my district? You gotta make sure that it's really affordable for the people that live here. They're only gonna build affordable housing. You want a hotel? I have heard this already here in my neighborhood. They want to build a hotel. Absolutely, of course. But that whatever development is in District 10 has to be centered in the community. Every time we raise rent by 5%, 2,000 to 3,000 elderly people get on the streets. We're talking about seniors. These are people that they're not gonna get hired in your local supermarket, or they can be in the parking garage, parking your car. These are older people. We have a duty to take care of our elders.
Is there a presidential candidate that you support or endorse?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no brainer that Bernie Sanders is our candidate. Yeah. He is the one that, at some point you start seeing all these candidates. There's so many, I lost count. There's so many, some very high profile, some many that had been already in places of leadership. A lot of them are already in places of leadership, leading our country in many different ways. And if you have that attitude, kind of like when you go to the supermarket and you stand in front of the cereal boxes and you like, maybe there's a better cereal than the one that I've been eating. I'm one of those consumers, I always want to see what's best. And maybe this is better than that. And you start reading the box, and then you start reading people's history and what they have stand for. And there is no question that Bernie has not only walked the walk, but also talked the talk. And he's the one that has not just talked about policies, but has stepped up and changed policy at the national level in a way that is completely transformative transformative to this country.
Yeah.
The time for change is now, and the time for the time to support a candidate that has stood for people, for progressive values, for the everyday person, and that has really enacted policies to change this country is now. And that's definitely Bernie Sanders. And he's the one that is really going to lead this country to a whole other place that we have not seen.
Yeah.
We need to learn how to dream together. That moment is now. There's no time for fear.
Awesome. So thank you so much for sharing a bit about your background and also some of your beliefs and your policy proposals and your past work. We'd also love to get to know you as a person. So you're a known fan of nature. I mean, I came into your house and you have plants everywhere. And you've talked about environmental justice. So you obviously love nature and the outdoors. What are your favorite outdoor pastimes?
Ooh, so many, So for a long time, I was a traveler. I'm like a world, traveler. I've been to many other countries in the world and hikes and sleep under the stars and met tribes in Mali and Egypt. Like, I have done all that other good stuff. I moved to California also partly because you have some of the most beautiful landscapes in the country, where you can drive 2 hours each direction and you're in a complete different environment. So, of course, I'm a desert lover. I absolutely love it out there and just getting connected to the earth. I spend actually a lot of my holidays when I don't go home to visit my abuela, my mom, and my dad, and my brothers. I go out to the desert and I spend my holidays out there, just like listening to the wind. Now I'm a candidate, so I'm running around all day, talking to people, thinking about strategies, and really building up the movement. And so, I have a garden. And I just grow my food, and I just grow my little garden, and I talk to them and my plants. I play music for them, I dance with them, and it brings me great joy. And I think that that's something that is very affordable for people to do.
Yeah.
I have all sorts of plants, like all the plants that I have here in the house. They clean the air, and you kind of learn so much from them, even though they're just standing there like all the time. So I love that. I love dancing. I have records, I collect records and I play records, and I also love to go to thrift shops and buy my records and stuff like that, of course.
Do you have any advice for someone who does want to run for office, especially if they're planning on having such a progressive platform? What's your advice for someone who wants to do that?
Yeah, I think it's important to, in whoever is thinking about running for office, to do a real analysis of your district or where your community is. And for me, progressive values only came because this is the experience of the people. Now, we have a system, a consulting system. The consultants I got the opportunity to work all around the country in political campaigns and in issue campaigns. So I kind of know how they do it in New York. I kind of know Florida. I'm like, oh, this is more conservative. Like Indiana, I see how you guys do it here. St. Louis. I'm like, okay, I see you, St. Louis. I see what's going on here. So, you kind of see every community kind of has a different flavor. It's just striking to see in LA how we're a little complacent, and there is so much opportunity to engage people. And it just doesn't happen, because also the people that are kind of, you're one candidate. You kind of rely on your team to kind of guide you and to say, okay, this is what we're doing today. You should do that. And if you have a team that is complacent, so I think also if you're going to be a progressive candidate, you have to surround yourself with real progressive people that are going to understand and are going to push that agenda and are going to push that style of organizing and political organizing. Because otherwise you're going to end up with a bunch of flyers where you don't look like yourself, with messaging that doesn't even sound like who you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. For anyone who wants to find more information about you, where can they go, or how can they contact you?
Absolutely. So you can go to my website, to aura2020.com, and that spells like my first name, AURA 2020.com. Again, it's aura2020.com. You can also find me on social media at Aura VASQUEZ Official. So Aura VASQUEZ Official in Instagram and on Facebook, and on Twitter is Aura M. Vasquez. So definitely come, join the campaign, sign up, volunteer, come hang out with me. I love the more the merrier. Come with your ideas. Share some of the other things that maybe I should be focusing on. This is again the campaign for the people and by the people. So it's exciting to really like see like I'm excited to just have all of the support and right now if we really want to create a movement that is going to change LA, it's going to take everyone. So please join me.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you so much.